Welcome back. Those of you who are just joining us, please note that the program is being simultaneously translated on YouTube. You will find Korean on the left and English on the right of your headsets. We will now start the country session on Korea. We have with us today 4 of the leading figures in Korea's EdTech field to help shed light on where Korea is on EdTech today. Now, for our last speaker of the session, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Woo Gun-ho, Head of Global Business Development and Strategic Alliances at Visang Education, a company with a 20-year history in developing and curating educational content for students and teachers. Please welcome Mr. Ho.
Thank you. It is so much delighted to be here, and it's great to see that this kind of event is holding in Korea, and I'd really like to see this more developed further and prosperous. So, hello everyone. My name is Woo Gun, and I'm currently working at Visang Education to connect what we've learned from teachers and students over 20 years to the rest of the world. Where education is believed to be the key to any developments, and teachers are valued to lead those changes. And today I'm inviting you to all to take a closer look at our classrooms, hoping to think about the future of teaching and learning. So hopefully, a little bit going back to the basal, before we get into too much detail of the technology today. But firstly, quickly looking back on the pandemic. An extreme circumstance to push all of us hard and yet asks us if we are now ready, or if you found your answer. Let's hear from teachers and students. There was a survey done by MOE Korea to both teachers and students asking how it was. And yet, you see, it was not easy for teachers to carry out their new task, especially working with learners at the other end of the line. They struggled to draw students' attention and stay motivated, as well as to provide an adequate feedback while managing clickings during the sessions. All the side works they had to cover before and after class were clearly burdened, and all the pressures and concerns that they may not be on top of those things. Over 40% of teachers combined said they experienced the same. How about students? We have heard the shortage of devices and lack of infra, as well as parent support, but more importantly, it was also difficult for them to stay focused. Pretending it's all right, but still it is awkward to sit in front of the camera and stay in a relatively long video calls, believing they are learning something. In specific, primary students mostly find it hard to stay focused, while they felt also they're not really sharing their thoughts over communication with peers. This is a list, only a part of a much longer tables about tools, system, or set of content selected by government or schools for the purpose of helping classrooms stay open. It is surveyed and prepared by the Global Coalition Group from UNESCO, so teachers don't need to spend hours to look up too many before they start anything. While it carries out and fulfills its original purpose, it also shows how hard it is for teachers to prepare and operate a class and stay connected while they are a bit swamped by different features. Earlier this month, the OECD held an online conference addressing how education is recovering the pandemic, starting with the main research by the director of the Education and Skills OECD. He clearly pointed out the need of integrating the pedagogy with technologies is indeed the core factor to make the effort meaningful in various on-tech classes and move forward to the next stage. So what is a better way to help our teachers, so as their classes, and eventually our students? At Visang, we started from an understanding of what models should be considered when we envision the future class, setting with devices for two-way interactions, VR, MR components under augmented environments, a flipped learning starting from the students and back to the classroom, and the hybrid with the remote learning. And we realized they are more about a process not a level of technology or a series of support or just a component or a product, but a continuous support ready to help before, during, and after a class. And believe it is nothing but to have teachers to focus and use their energy on more important things. That is, engaging with students while putting features at the right place. To think about what role we should give to the technology is the way Bisang talks about the future education. And I think that's the motto and the idea of what HTHT is all about, high touch and high tech. We also want to have more enhanced pedagogy to match with the level of technology, more intimate and more comprehensive at the same time. Specifically, technology enables for learners to learn with multi-level stimulations, to experience target subjects, and they become more fluent with topics by engaging with all language aspects to develop their learning skills. Furthermore, all learners should be encouraged to participate in communications, collaborations with peer group continuously to see the context of their understanding. In summary, we believe the future class should be accountable for its efforts in education by providing more powerful mediums to visualize and engage between teacher-students or students themselves. The future class will track all data from activities to help a class as a whole and student as an individual learner. And finally, to ease the burden on our teachers by systemizing all managerial tasks. So, a little bit get into of what we have, the Olvia. This is a new digital platform to help run classrooms in a smarter way. As a platform for a classroom, it is structured to work along the course of teaching and learning, simply before, during, and after a class. They have opportunities to evaluate what they have learned with administering various tasks by teachers. The result with analysis are then interpreted and shared to all key stakeholders, including parents. And everything is easily controlled and managed under a system. The students start with a pre-class session where they get a chance to explore new topics and think about what would happen next. A good warm-up with various activities for students, but also a chance for a system to start understanding where the learner is in terms of key strengths and the learning objectives. Now, the students are with teachers during class, where teachers introduce and lead the key concepts and focus on how students do together with fully interactive activities. The system records learning data generated during the class and compare them from the previous sessions, including the pre-learning session. The system now understands better of the actual progress or specific areas students struggle. Finally, a session that completes our learner's journey. More fun and engaging activities such as games are provided to each learner to empower their understandings. During the final session, Olvia makes sure students receive something more prescriptive to each individual based on the analysis. Lastly, we find both pre and after learning sessions also especially useful to help grow students a good learning habit. Of course, students can join the class wherever they are when they are on our platform. Teachers can engage exactly the same way he or she does with students anywhere. We started with a lower level, such as preschool and certain subjects at the beginning, but recently we invited other content providers to extend our offerings by loading up more packages, such as Oxford or other content, and on and off to reach out more classes. To get this kind of bunch good of the interactive contents so the teachers can choose from. The AIEd is a brand new package for Visang and recently getting popular by key chains and elite schools worldwide. It is a comprehensive 6-year or level program that brings more fun and engaging for language learners while makes teachers' life so much easier. The Wings is a long-time favorite by many kindergartens or preschool teachers, where they find it extremely helpful to capture and manage the kids' attention. consists of full of STEAM activities. There are over 40,000 kids in Korea alone learning with wings, and increasing peers in East, South Asian countries and MENA region. And this is another pack for the primary level. I will skip through. Visang has also won several awards from recognized institutions, and this year we're honored to enlist it as a finalist for Best Show for 2 different categories and waiting to be the winner as well. And our platform is spreading quickly from where it started to neighboring countries and growing fast now. We would like to invite you to join this growing community. This is some of the pictures we've taken from the actual scenes, and we love to see their moment of enlightenment when they engage with something they find enjoyable. And we continue to also engage with the teachers so we can continue our philosophy and this good tool to be useful inside of the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hong. So I would like to ask you to share your thoughts on the following question. What do you believe is the key strength of Korean edtech companies in the global edtech market?
In my point of view, I think one of the things we can consider is that most of the Korean companies are currently being driven by the lot pressure. The numbers of the kids newborn is dramatically dropping, and if you are in the shoes of any education company in Korea, you are actually very desperate, and the eagerness, this new way to seek to expand our company. I think that's one of the key drive that will make the Korean companies to be different, because we have that strong eagerness. Of course, partially driven by the environment. But at the same time, as all other speakers already mentioned, I think we have experienced so much already about this top level of consumers and strong competitions, fierce level, saturated market. So everything what we think and what we do is actually proven by the market. And it has been competed with the partner centers and the competitors over years. So out of this eagerness, we will have a chance to meet others outside of the border, and then we will start to find that differentiator we already have inside based on the experience, and hopefully that will give the strength for the Korean company.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And we do have time for one last question, if you don't mind. What do you think is the most essential thing Korean edtech companies need to have to enter the global edtech market? And this time, if I can ask Mr. Ho to start.
Okay. Back to, I think the second one is strongly related back to the first one. It's always happy and always great to have a support from outside to be competitive, stay competitive in the global market. Such as one of the education company in the private sector, it's been quite difficult to get a data or reference from public sector. So far, we had to thrive and survive on our own, basically. And when you out there, you are getting questions about what do you have on data? Have you tried with the schools? We love to do, but it wasn't that easy. So it would be wonderful if any startup, any company in Korea who explore for the outside of market, if they can have a chance to get a reference and then work experience with the public sector, it'll be strong support. But more importantly, even with all the support and then reference with this public sector, I think it all boils down to the main aspect. What is the authenticity we have? What is the originality we can claim to be the Korean company? It could be AI, it could be something else. But we have to find something that differentiates from other companies in the U.S. or other, where schools, teachers, parents, students find this is different. And I think we're still in the route and the way to get there, but hopefully to get something clearly in our hand surely give that beneficial for the Korean company.